With Metro by T-Mobile, your hard-earned money goes further. This tax season, there's zero fees to switch. Enjoy Metro's lowest price. Just $25 a line for 4 lines. Plus, get 4 free Samsung Galaxy phones when you switch. Now that's the best deal in wireless. Metro by T-Mobile, empowering you to rule your day. All lines lose promo rate if any deactivates. No fees on select phones. Limit 1 per line with eligible port. Excludes sales tax. Limited time offer. Additional terms apply. See metrobytmobile.com.
Coming to you from the HagmannReport.com studio, located in the Keystone State, birthplace of a mighty nation, it's your host, Doug Hagmann.
This is Hagmann Report, where truth can't be silenced. HagmannReport.com, that is the place to go for all of our audio video. That's HagmannReport.com and HagmannStore.com for gourmet coffee. I'm telling you, gourmet coffee. Have a cup. Have a cup. It's actually, you can also buy the mugs. I Need the Bean, an utterance that I made spontaneously in one show, and there it was, suddenly on the back of a coffee cup. And that's HagmannStore.com, HagmannReport.com as well. But Hagmann Store, there are 3 different kinds of coffee. Yes, this is gourmet coffee. Some of the proceeds go to fight the battle against human and child sex trafficking, boots on the ground, organizations, including organizations, Craig Sawyer, Vets for Child Rescue, Russ Dizdar, his group. That's right. You're helping them out when you purchase Hagmann coffee. And you're helping us out as well because we provide support for, I'm not going to get into it, but we do provide investigative support for organizations. Now, of course, we're not talking about the fantasy organizations, none of those. We're talking about the real deal. All right. America held hostage. This is day number 37 of America held hostage by the Chinese Communist Party and their alignment with the Democratic left and with all of the leftists and the Representative Rhino Wright. We're also into day number 49, I believe it is, of the Capitol being a military encampment. The day 49, roughly, of the Capitol being surrounded by razor wire fence, high fencing, and such. Why? Well, it just has that added extra effect. When you bring, when you take your children, your class, on a field trip to the Capitol to see our beautiful Capitol, what do they see? They see armed troops, 8, 10, 12-foot high fences with razor wire on top. That's what they see. And then, of course, their leftist teachers will say, see, Johnny, don't you talk bad about the government because, look, don't talk bad. Don't even think about it. Don't talk bad about Nancy Pelosi. And don't even think about exercising your First, let alone your Second and First Amendment rights anywhere near here, because this is the green zone. I saw just an incredible Twitter. Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're trying to get rid of her. They're trying to get her out of Congress. She. At any rate, the Twitter was this. I don't know how many people have been into the congressional offices, the office buildings where you can meet with your representative in their offices. I've been up there, numerous times, and you've got offices across or next to each other and across from each other. And at any rate, the representative, and I don't recall her name right off the top. You can find this on social media. You can find this everywhere. Representative across from Marjorie Taylor Greene put up this LGBTQRSTVU whatever flag in front of her office. Okay. And then went, by the way, I hate when people do that. I don't like it. That's kind of like poking you. I just don't like that. So Marjorie Taylor Greene comes out of her office. This is like, I don't know how much later, and puts up the sign. There are only two genders, male and female, two sexes, male and female. I'm paraphrasing the sign, big sign, and slaps it on the wall, and then goes. I thought, okay, yeah, baby, that's where our tax dollars are going. All right, they got lots to do there. It's kind of, it reminds me of like the neighbors who feud. Biden sign, Trump sign, American flag with the Confederate flag, versus some, I don't know, Hatfield and McCoy's. But I'm laughing. But here's the thing: we are at war. We are at war, and you've got to know it. We have a disturbance in the studio. Is everything okay, or is there a fire? Is there an emergency, or we need to? You okay? Now that was unnecessary. Why, of all the fingers to give me, why that one? No, I'm kidding, folks. I'm kidding. We're about to start a very serious program. Okay, so I need a little levity before the program, and that's the way I get it. Terrorize my wife. Right? I love you, babe. I got the most beautiful wife in the world. You want to come on camera and show the people how beautiful you are? I love my wife. I also love Eric the Tech too. Not in the same way though. Don't call me Richard Levine. I mean Rachel Levine, cousinette. Don't call me cousinette. No, no, wouldn't be prudent. Again. Let me set this up for you because I'm about to unleash Steve Quayle upon everyone. I don't know how many people saw his appearance yesterday on InfoWars. Oh! It's on HagmannReport.com, the segment is. Man, he hit it out of the park yesterday. And I was looking at the numbers, and his segment got like a whole bunch more numbers than views than other segments that were posted. But that's at Band Video. It's at HagmannReport.com. You can look at it after the show. But it was fantastic. So bringing Steve Quayle on and, again, going to unleash him. This is a very serious show. That's why the levity at the beginning. Segregate, isolate, and destroy. Think about those three words. Remember Steve Quayle talking about identify, vilify, nullify, and destroy. Well, now it's segregate, isolate, and destroy. Kind of a SIDS death, if you will. You remember SIDS, right? Sudden infant death syndrome. Well, this is the adult version of SIDS. Segregate, isolate, and destroy. Second lockdown and what happens when it comes. We had a great conversation off air last night, a very extended conversation about a number of things, and it's just incredible. One of the things, folks, that, again, before I bring Steve on, and Steve, is he ready? Okay. I want to play this from Steve Bannon very quickly to kind of set the stage, because you remember, folks, I hope people remember, a number of years ago, Steve talking initially about transhumanism, and people saying, what the heck is that? What's transhumanism? And then, of course, his books and his writings. He was so far ahead of his time. Well, a couple of days ago, Andrew Torba, the head of Gab, who I know is a great Christian, a great man, a great Christian, God-fearing man, appeared with Steve Bannon on the War Room and said this about transhumanism. It's about a 2.5 minute, roughly a 3-minute clip. But let's take a listen and take a look at this. Here it is.
I think that I tell people you're one of the rising voices. It's not just about your ideas about subsidiarity, the great Catholic concept of, the best government is one that's closest to the people, and how you really change American populism being so centralized to actually decent. We've got to create millions of Donald Trumps, right, that are out there at the local level. But you bring up a concept. And one of the things we pride ourselves here is getting nomenclature out there. Then we can talk process and statics and dynamics of process, and then critical path, and people can start to get a mental map of how to start to comprehend what's about to happen. This concept, we got a couple of minutes left. I want to talk about transhumanism. You mention this a lot in your writings and your talk. What do you mean when the audience sitting there going, hey, I'm following social media, I'm following Bannon on this economics, they're ranting and raving about the party of Davos and everything. Transhumanism's a new one. So, Andrew, and by the way, it is central to the thesis of what is going on with the globalist. Walk through what is transhumanism in your mind, and why do you continue to mention it?
So, this goes back to the supremacy concept and the mindset that I was talking about earlier in the show, where these Silicon Valley elites, these oligarchs, this party of Davos, they believe that they are a superior race to the rest of us. They unironically believe this. So, and this is the first thing that goes away with transhumanism is equality, because with transhumanism, what they're saying is they're modifying and liberating human beings from biology. Right. So they want to, put chips in our brain, put chips in our wrists and modify the human body biologically by hacking our DNA and all sorts of things like this. So that is transhumanism. And obviously the reason that this is very dangerous is whoever controls the chips controls the minds of the people with the chips in them. So they want us to all be we're now digital serfs. We still have our biological freedom, but they want to own us biologically as well.
This is not conspiracy theory, and this is not wingnut talk, okay? What you're seeing, the concept is called the singularity. It's been talked about in scientific circles for about a decade. There's a great book about called Homo Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, I think you pronounce it. Then he wrote another book called Homo Deus, right? A Brief History of Tomorrow. This is a book that everyone should get. It is essentially a kind of a horror book. It's absolutely brilliant, but you have to get this. It's quite difficult to get there. It's not easy. But it talks about that you're coming to the end of Homo sapiens. You're about to have something, the singularity is when it all converges and you go beyond. We know the Chinese Communist Party is actually working on this in the CCP, and there are many other experiments throughout the world that people don't know about. But the concept is there's something beyond man, and that beyond man is some sort of merger or some sort of connectivity to artificial intelligence, advanced chip design, whether it's biologically put in or other aspects. This has actively gone on, and it's talked about ad nauseum, right? It's talked about ad nauseum at the highest levels. And this is just practical. This concept of transhumanism has to be put on the table. I gave a speech in Rome 3 or 4 years ago to the Brothers of Italy, a kind of a populist group, and I said, the reason I'm a populist is because I want to make sure, having come from Harvard and worked at Goldman Sachs, that the problems we have in globalization, that the people that made the decisions about globalization are not making the decisions about transhumanism, because that's the one that's coming, and because of advances in technology, it's not 100 years from now. It's going to be in the living experience of people under 50 years old.
Caught me off guard there. I thought there was another 30 seconds of it. I apologize. I was actually what I was doing here. I was looking for on SafeTrek. If you go to stevequayle.com, click on the books and products. Go to the books and products and order Steve's book. In fact, I'm going to do this for Steve Bannon and send this to Steve Bannon, his book Xenogenesis, if it is still available. I'm looking and I can't get my fingers on it right at the moment, but I'll talk to Steve right now. Steve, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm really good, Doug, but we're going to have a heavy show today, and I just want to address transhumanism. The easiest way to explain transhumanism is even beyond, I think, easier than Steve Bannon. It is the end of human beings with a supernaturally evil plan instead of carboniferous life forms. We're made out of the dust of the earth. God breathes his spirit into us with silicon-based, basically demon-possessed former entities known as human. I call it, in my poor attempt at Latin, humanicus destructicus, okay? What we are, what we were, and everything about it. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with chips, it doesn't matter if you're dealing with surveillance, everything is designed to destroy the human being. And even the globalists, the technocrats, the full-scale, full-on worshiping Luciferians are talking about this when they're even talking about bringing the population of the world down to 500 million, the Georgia Guidestones. But it goes beyond that, Doug. And what most people do not understand is what we have is, and I talked about this 20 years ago, but technological decadence. I short